All right, don't adjust your TV sets. We're starting early, so just wanted to start early so I could say hi to folks, and then to test, you can hear me. Hopefully, you can. We will begin at 15 minutes past the hour. Hey, Mike. Ahoy. Uh, and so yeah, and then I'll post this, but bonjour, Paul. Um, we're gonna play around with. I think I had said we're gonna do just note gone, but I think we're gonna play around with here gone as a variation, kind of as a stepping stone, and then we'll see what people's reactions are, and then maybe sometime in the new year we'll do a little more with that. But and then so we'll sort of start. I'll have a shorter preamble at the 15-minute mark than I normally do. And then we'll hit our 25 minutes. So um you had all these, like, you know, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, whatever, Cyber Week, sort of things going on in the last couple weeks, and uh, audiobooks were at like an 80 to 90% off. Yes, and there's Giving Tuesday. That's actually the ray of sunshine, in my opinion, Paul, for that time frame. Hello to Bill. It Sounds True ran one of these things where they gave like 90% off or whatever for a lot of early Shinzen material. So Shinzen Young, one of his first sort of forays out past doing retreats, and then Shinzen was very active in the LA area. Was that he did? Oh yeah, hello Moira and Bill J. Welcome. Um, he did work with Sounds True. So there's this like 12 CD version of The Science of Enlightenment that Sounds True put out, but before that he did some other things. Anyway, there's a bunch of these little like, working with difficult emotions, working with difficult emotions and using mindfulness, and the beginner's guide, or get meditating in 30 minutes. And so they were all like $1.60 or whatever. So I bought a bunch of them, and I've been re-listening to some of the early Shinzen stuff, and it's rekindled my like sort of excitement in the particulars of his system, or the preciseness, maybe is a better way to say, preciseness and accuracy, and it made me feel good about, or either made me feel good about picking the gone as our thing to play around with today, or it's why I picked it and then I rationalized it backwards. So it could be any and all of those things. Hello, Saban. So I don't know about you, Saban, but I think today was dangerously close to a record high in Tucson. I think we were right around 80, but I think 81 is the record. So I haven't seen if we made it today. And for my Canadian friends, sorry for the Fahrenheit. All right, it is 15 minutes past the hour. Welcome, happy holidays. If you are diligently preparing all of your grievances for Festivus, you have time still. That's the 23rd. We are in the middle of the 12 days of Christmas, and after I sent out the reminder email, I totally realized I forgot to include the Mackenzie Brothers 12 Days of Christmas. So I'll try to correct that at some point here. And and then if you're looking at the calendar, 2025 is rapidly approaching. I feel like it's one of those things in the side mirror, it's like it's closer than it appears. My name is Andrew. I'm a certified mindfulness meditation coach. I'm a software engineer by trade and training. Most people will know me from the Do Nothing Project as a sometimes guest host and most times moderator. And today I have a hockey game. Oh yes, S. Quinn. Festivus, one of the days of the made-up Seinfeld holiday of Festivus, was the airing of grievances. So it was meant to include part of the year the ability to air grievances before you put up the chrome pole. So it was meant to be the simplest decoration possible. So, and I realized that the Festivus reference might be slightly dated now. But I like a good made up holiday. I forgot to wish everybody a merry and festive Kerbatsmas, which is one of the Lebowski holidays. And hello to folks that are just joining. You haven't missed anything yet, but you've lost out on an opportunity to be confused. Lucky for you, there will be more chances to be confused. So we'll have a 25-minute sit, and then before we started, I was just doing a little pre-roll with Mike and Paul and Bill and folks that were here early. So I had mentioned that we were going to do a technique called Gone, or Just Note Gone. And so I'm going to post this in light of the fact. So Shinzen Young wrote an article for Tricycle called "The Power of Gone" in like 2012, I want to say, and it used to be freely available, and now it is behind the Tricycle subscription paywall. So that PDF talks about Shinzen's thoughts about Gone, and what that really is doing is we're saying we're going to use a noting practice. So we're noticing aspects of our sensory experience. Optionally, we're noticing them in the act of noting. We're noting our attention is on them. We're soaking our attention into them, and then optionally using a label as sort of a support. It's almost like we're spotting somebody that's bench pressing, and we're sort of using that optional label to maintain our contact with that sensory experience for just a bit longer, and then allowing ourselves to kind of go back to our technique, and then noticing where our attention is, kind of the repeat. So ad infinitum. The idea with Gone is that as we're tracking things, the article comes up, but I think if you try to go to the article, you get a polite nudging for why you would want to start a free trial with Tricycle, which wasn't always the case. There is a trick with that. You can use your Reader app if you're looking at it on your mobile device, and that sometimes bypasses it. So, welcome, Lynn. So the notion here is that we have an experience. You can think of it as kind of it is sort of, we're noticing it, we're tracking it in our experience, and then when it drops off or it's gone, hence the label, we notice just that. So we aren't looking at the arisings as much as we're noticing the dropping off. And so there's a way that this helps us with the tracking of what's going on in our experience, and then the idea of seeing when things end. So if you have a neighbor's dog that barks, you'll hear barking and barking and barking and barking. All of a sudden, there'll be no barking. That's a gone. So here, gone is what we'll use as our proxy for exploring this. If you live by cars and there's a car passing by, you'll notice I will notice that I hear a car is passing, and then it's gone. The bell is another opportunity for us to play around with that. So a lot of times a sangha will they will invite the bell, and then they'll let the bell go as long as possible naturally before they ring the next bell. And so it's like you're tracking that experience, and then it's gone. So that's what we're playing around with. If we think about mindfulness as being an opportunity for us to do skills training, this is kind of one of the super skills, or supercharging the training of those skills. Hopefully that helps. So we'll sit for 25 minutes. I am going to then be on a uncharacteristically brief at the end because I gotta head out to a hockey game. So we got a hockey game tonight. All right, 25 minutes on the clock. If you do have questions, I will answer them after. And I'll light the bell. We'll answer that as we go, Paul. That's a great question. I can note that as a gone. All right. So we'll begin just by setting up our posture. Again, we endeavor to be upright without being uptight. An upright and relaxed-ish posture. The reminder that it benefits us to sit with our skeleton more than sitting with our muscles. Pausing just to kind of see what's sort of already here and experience. So as we transition from one thing to another in the day, sometimes we get this residual carryover. So just giving ourselves a little bit of a space for that. Noticing if it's here, not chasing it away. And then a few deliberate breaths. Slow and low is the tempo that we're going for. Breathing in through the nose allows us to breathe low into the belly. And breathing low allows us to extend and accentuate the exhale. So as we begin and shift into our technique here, we're going to do 25 minutes. We'll leave the last 5 minutes for do nothing. So we'll drop the technique. Forgot to mention that. And so the question is sort of, and this is left sort of to a degree, I'll give you some pointers, but degree for you to choose. So we're playing with gone. So this idea that if we wanted to, every pause in my delivery of what I'm saying is an opportunity for us to note gone. So HEAR, we can hear gone, meaning that we're aware of our sensory experience in auditory range, so sounds and things like that. And then we're adding into that the opportunity to fine-tune and notice the abrupt or partial, what's the right term? When something in our sensory experience abruptly stops or partially stops. The other notion is if this becomes unwieldy, like the adding in the gone isn't good, then you could choose the other side, which is just really working with here. So that would be mental talk, here in, or auditory, here out. So hopefully, it's very complicated, but I trust that you'll be able to untangle that. So explore a little bit, and then I'll check in to see if I can offer a few things that might clean up or tidy up a little bit of my explanations. So just last pause, we're either here, gone, or we're just working with here. Your choice. So if you hear the clock that a lot of you report hearing, that's here in the room with me. This is interesting. The irregularities of the clock make it an interesting sort of focus object for here gone. So it's somewhat fast, somewhat rapid. So we sort of hear the tick, there's a gone, talk, gone. Sometimes there's a extra pause, gone, and then it starts back up, kind of. So again, that's one thing that might be available to you. And one of the awkward parts is sort of, and why we pair this with here, is what to do when you're kind of hanging out, waiting to notice a gone. So that's where we can use the home base of here, and just like we would if we were focused on that and that alone. There's one more little tweak or pivot, just as if you're finding yourself trying to employ the technique and then there's a frustration, just seeing if that frustration is leading to herein. So if it's leading to mental talk. So you may notice that the mental talk kind of tags one on the other and on the next. And then you may notice it drops away. But just seeing if you have a frustration, then if you can sort of shift to the frustration generating talk. Not necessarily entertaining the content of the talk, but noticing it. And then you might hear the rustling of various metal things from my neighbor, and then they're gone. All right, so you can sort of drop that if you want, or you can very carefully, with care, place that on the shelf. Let the technique go, and we'll shift into do nothing. So one way of looking at do nothing is we're just sitting and aware that we're sitting, or we're noticing that we're sitting, just kind of in almost like an open aperture. The unified mindfulness way to phrase it is that we're letting go of any intention to control our attention. And then if we notice that we're doing that, we let it go. And the last thing I'll offer is there's just a bit of a shot that maybe you'll feel a pronounced noticing of those sensory experiences when they drop away. And if you don't, no big deal. ring the bell to signal the end of our sit. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for your patience with tonight's technique and willingness to try it out. To my knowledge, everything is ready to go for this weekend. So I'll be in chat. Jeff will be your host. And then I think we're straddling the holidays this year, where the year before we were kind of like hitting them. So 5 golden toques. Perfect, Bill. Perfect. For those watching the recording, I should have tucked away a link to the PDF about the power of Gong that I mentioned at the top. That should be there for you. I think one of the reasons that the Gong technique sort of is interesting to me is that I've done woodcut relief printing, a lot of that. So there's an artist in Tucson. His name is Joe Marshall. And this is Ghost Ninja. He did this. It's an image that he did, but it's laser cut. And so I don't know if you can't really see this, but there's the surface of this, and then there's everything that's been removed. And so I think of these like gongs as being kind of like the negative space of experience that is the negative space of experience, or shapes that arising in our sensory experience. And so practicing kind of noticing that tunes your dial to these things a little bit. And it's not necessarily something everybody wants to do all the time, but it's an interesting cross training. So hopefully that landed in a good spot for some of you. If there's more interest, bring it up again in the new year. We'll explore it a bit more. You're all super welcome. Try to think of what else. Thank you for the people that are watching the Wabi Sabi clock. Appreciate that. So if you haven't seen that, that's just the audio. I just mic'd the clock and did a meditation, 25-minute meditation with just the ticking of the clock that you hear in the background here. So the plan is with like 80% commitment. The plan is on Christmas Day, that evening, I'll do a meditation. If you can't make it, no big deal. It'll be recorded. So same time next week. Thank you, Paul. So that, I think, is a question that a couple people had emailed me about after I sent the reminder out today. I didn't get a chance to reply to you, but this is my reply, and you'll get a reply in a little bit. So awesome. All right. Well, I am hoping to see an exciting game, and I hope everyone has a calm and less stressful remainder of your week. And I will see you on Sunday.